Okay, here's how you set up for a workshop for people. First you need to find acorn tops. And the acorn tops need to be rather thin, round, bigger than normal, and they don't lie flat sometimes, and it's harder to glue the material on there, so I tend to just use a little sandpaper, and they sand down nicely. To get a nice sand, figure eight's the best thing to do. Sorry this is moving so much, but it doesn't have to be perfect. It is nature. There we go. Then you want to take a piece of cardboard. I like to put some packing tape on it because if the glue gets off and onto the paper, it'll stick to the acorn, whereas the glue won't stick to the packing tape. And here are your magnets that you can order. This is the back side that goes under the pin. This is the one that you would normally attach to the pin. It has a piece of adhesive on the back, which you don't even need. So I'll show you why. What I tend to do is pour the glue right into the shell. And this does a couple things. Not only will it make the acorn top a little bit more stable, but it will help adhere this part to it. Now what I tend to do, this takes about 2 hours. This particular glue takes about 2 hours to dry, and it dries clear. So what I do is I come back in an hour when this is still a little tacky and glue the top on. So we'll be right back. Okay, we are back. Waited about 45 minutes. I thought it looked like it was getting good. It's a little wet still. So what you want to do is peel off the sticky part and take some of your glue. I like to just put glue with glue because it's a better adhesive measure here. So just put a little tiny bit of glue on there and seal it. And then try not to get it on your fingers like I just did. Whoops, I just dropped it. But anyway, you put it right on top, just like that, and it rests. See how it rests right on the glue without going down. The reason we wait a little while is because I don't want it to sink. But you basically leave it like that. I leave it for about 2 days. I think it's technically able to cure in 24 hours, but I just make sure it's really stuck and ready to go for your workshop. So once you have this glued and it's cured for a couple days, this is what the back will look like now. And I'm using a different one. This is silver just because I have both. But what I tend to do for people is get a piece of cardboard, one full sheet. You can cut it into 4 pieces. And then you apply this by putting the magnet on the back like this. And it stays pretty secure, which is really convenient for people to glue because you're not going to move around, and it's a great way to secure this. And then when you're done making the pin, you put it on your shirt or whatever the same way you do this cardboard. It actually sticks nicely. It's got a nice magnet to it. When you go to set up your workshop, each of the participants will get one piece of wax paper. This is just to help protect the workspace. It's also good because the super glue doesn't dry as fast on on wax paper. So here's your cup with materials. I asked them to take a small paper plate. This is a chinette. I tend to like chinette because they're pretty stable and they're white, so they don't conflict with the paint, the material. And then you take your acorn, have them have an acorn. One person gets an acorn. And each of the people will get a glue. This is the super glue gel. And when it comes, the top is separate from the base. And what you tend to do is turn it on till it clicks. That actually opens it up so that you can use it. And have people just take the green top off because this is a pretty precision here. Make a little pile of the glue. The reason I like this gel is because it takes a while for it to dry. And everybody will have these cutters. I love these because they can get in there and cut shapes, cut them in half. People can love to use these. And then these precision tweezers. So I take a piece just to show you and dip it in the glue and start gluing onto your acorn. Now this glue takes a little while to set, so I'm going to show you another video where I used white glue. I tend to think that the super glue gel works better, so that's what I recommend, this particular one here. And then I'll have you watch that video. The other thing I want to tell you, if you choose to, you can have them paint if they're fast enough to be able to paint. There's a link for these tiny little brushes and a link to the type of paint that I like. But I'm going to show you some pictures at the end of just the real natural ones, people that didn't necessarily have time to paint. I think they look great. So when you lay out your people, wax paper, acorn on the cardboard, plate for the materials, your super glue stick here, and flush mount cutters and your tweezers, and they will be ready to go. All they need now is a glass of wine. So when you start gluing, again, this is the white glue. I use the super glue gel instead these days because I do like it better. But this is a video of me gluing the pieces onto the acorn, and I've fast forwarded it just for the time constraints. And you glue all these things on, have everybody glue. And the glue will set, even though it's a super glue, it will take a couple of minutes to set. And once it does, so it's once they're set with their design and let it dry completely, I have them go back and I use this super glue with a brush. Now, you don't need one of these per person, one particular container of this per person. You just need to share because you just need a little bit of a light coat. And I use this so that it will seal everything and also keep it in its position. Then if they do choose, once it dries completely, if they do choose to paint it, you can use silver paint or gold paint. I have links to the paints that I use. People can also use nail polish if you want to use nail polish of different colors. But again, that can get a little tricky because of the scent. It gets very stinky in the workshop. But I go through and I paint them either gold or silver. Here are some photos of different examples of people's pins that they've made around the country in workshops that I've done. And you can see the extraordinary talent we all have here in this garden club of ours across the country. And I think it's a really fun way to get together with people and introduce them to botanical arts in a casual setting. You don't need to have these judged in any way, and people feel that this is a lot of fun. People really enjoy doing this, and I think it's a great way to introduce people to botanical arts. If you have any questions, just email me, but I hope you will try this with your club or your friends and enjoy it. Thank you very much. Have fun.